You haven't used the radio button control yet in this course, but it's likely that you've seen radio buttons while browsing the internet. Radio buttons are very similar to checkboxes, but only allow the user to choose one option at a time. You'll learn more about the radio button control in this lesson. First, open the My Project sample file from your Sample Files folder. And open controlstest.aspx in Design View. Next, add a radio button control to the page. As you can see, a placeholder containing the ID property is shown in exactly the same way as with the checkbox control. We're now going to set the properties of the new radio button control. Set the ID property to Radio Button Choice 1 and set the text property to Choice 1. Now add another radio button control to the page, below the first one. We're now going to set the properties of the second radio button control. Set the ID property to Radio Button Choice 2 and set the text property to Choice 2. View the page in your browser now and try clicking on the radio button controls. As you can see, they both become selected with no way to deselect them. This isn't the way you want things to work. This happened because you haven't told the two radio buttons that they belong to the same group yet. Close your browser now and set the group name property to Choices. Do this for both of the radio buttons. View the page in your browser again and try clicking on the radio buttons. This time you're only able to select one choice at a time, which is how radio buttons are supposed to work. Note that if you had used a radio button list control instead, the group name properties would be automatically assigned. The radio button list control is similar to the checkbox list control, as it allows you to create a group of radio buttons in the same way as you'd create a drop-down list control. In most cases, the radio button list control is preferable to the radio button control, as it automatically assigns the radio buttons to the same group. The events for all of the radio buttons are also grouped together. Close your browser now. We're now going to make Radio Button Choice 1 checked by default. To do this, select Radio Button Choice 1 and set its checked property to True. As you can see, the first choice is now selected by default. Next, add a checked changed event handler to the Radio Button Choice 1 control. This event handler will fire when the first radio button is checked or unchecked. Add the following code to the new event handler: response.write radio button choice 1 dot checked dot toString. This code will write true or false onto the screen, depending on whether radio button choice 1 is selected or not. View the page in your browser and try clicking on the radio button controls. As with the checkbox control, the radio button control doesn't automatically post back by default, so nothing happens. Close the browser and set the auto postback properties of both of the radio buttons to true. View the page in your browser again and try clicking on the radio buttons once again. As you can see, the event handler works when you click on choice 1, but nothing happens when you click on choice 2. This is because although choice 2 is causing a postback, it doesn't have an event handler. This could easily be fixed by giving the radio button choice 2 control a checked changed event handler as well. Close the browser. Remove the controls. And remove the event handler. You've now completed Lesson 4.6. Use radio buttons.